It's rocking the 6.5 horsepower engine. I mean, just check the freaking shocks out on it. Like, it's got little coily, whatever you want to call them, spring shocks on the front and on the back, man. We're just rocking pure 70s by the looks of it. I was actually on my way home from picking up another project and this thing popped up and I thought, no freaking way, I don't need another thing. $100. I just could not say no. It has been thrashed. It has certainly had a hard life. I mean, look at this wheel that come with it. The threads have all been welded up and things like that. So I actually picked up some go-kart wheels a while back. We're going to see how they're going to fit. Backstory on this thing, the guy bought the house and this was in the shed and it was hanging up or something. So he just wanted to get rid of it. He got about 100 messages after I messaged him and it was only up for about 10 minutes, I think. So I was really lucky to get it. Don't get me wrong, these motors are definitely good where they can be used, but we do things a little bit different around here. So that thing's coming, yanking straight out. We're gonna see if it's actually gonna run. Yank it out, fund the new motor that's going in it. I'll leave that down in the comments for you guys to guess what that is. Maybe the winner can win a free sticker. We'll just see. But it's going to be something cool. It's going to be something different that we don't normally do. I mean, just look at this. I'm digging the big ape hangers. I think we're going to leave those on there. Just how comfortable it feels. Everything just feels great on it. You know, we've got the nice little foot pegs down the bottom. We can make all this work. So this oil I'm throwing in just a little bit of oil I had left over from something that didn't do many Ks. I don't even, it's not that thickness, but we'll just see. It'll be enough for a quick run test and see if it fires up. So it's been ratted for bits. He didn't know anything about the motor. So we're just going to put on a couple of these nuts just to space it. These things chew the fuel. That was full. It's already empty. It's only sort of splattered twice. So we've got a few good kicks out of it. It just won't stay running. I think the carby might be a bit blocked because it's been sitting and it's probably had some dirty fuel in it. Don't want to waste too much time on this motor. I'm just going to advertise it as is. So let's whip this thing out. All right, let's get this on the dissection table. Lucky we have this mini bike lifter. Why don't we do this more often? Maybe we're going to start doing more mini bikes. That was just way too easy to move. And it really fits the table. So engine's got to come out. We're going to fund this build somehow. So I'm going to try and get $100 for it or something. I think that's fairly reasonable. Talking about funding these projects, you can pick up your own merch if you want to keep builds like this going. It does really help the channel. Link is always in the description. Hopefully I'm going to have hats and beanies available very soon. But if you guys do want a sticker, you can slap them on your car or anything like that. Shoot us an email. It's down in the description. So engine's just held in loosely by a couple of bolts. We'll whip those out. And I've got something really exciting coming for the back. The bolts are literally just finger tight. Must have just been sat in there, and that's it. Oh, that's good, we get some new hardware. Oh man, that's easy. Let's see why they use those motors, nice and light. I've got these left over from the old golf cart lift kit we made a couple of years back, so I've just held on to them because I paid good money for them. What do you guys reckon? Is that something we should put in here instead of these stiff old ones that sort of aren't really, I don't know. I think they look all right. They look like a shock absorber. These might suit the front a little more. Now, this is what I've been picturing for this little beast. Nice, big, fat wheel on the back and something around the same size on the front. Obviously, it's a go-kart slick. Is that going to work? I don't know. I'm not a two-wheel fan. I don't really build things like this, so we'll just test it and see. I'm sure we can get something that's going to work for this, but we're going to require a custom axle from the back as well. So let's start with the front. Now, the rims I did buy, they were cheap because they're pretty well flogged out. I can polish them up, make it work for a little mini bike, but for something like a go-kart, this probably wouldn't, you know, be satisfactory. But I'm going to see if I can swap these bearings out, get them to fit, because that shaft seems to fit, or find something to fit. We'll get this front wheel mocked up and then we'll have a look at the back. Alright, so tried to remove the bearing out of this wheel, but they're absolutely buggered. That's just what fell out. because I wanted to try and see if they fit, but they do not fit in this hub here. So that's our first issue. I grabbed a couple of these bearings I used as packers to hold down the drill press. They'll do for now so we can test our size. They're a bit noisy, but we can tap them in and get our size right. That one just fell in actually. So we've got one on the other side. We can tap that out and put another one in or whatever we want to do. Now, this axle obviously doesn't fit, the original one, but we can mock it up with that for now because it's only a couple of mil. The next issue is our forks. This one's a tiny bit longer, so I don't know what's happened there, whether the spring or something's gone wrong internally. Next part is, it doesn't fit with the wheel. It just rubs on the top. So whether we can actually sand these down and lift them up a little bit, weld them back on. I don't think there's any oil inside. I think it's just the spring. Plan is to completely remove this bottom ring. It's only welded in 3 spots from what I could see. What we're gonna do is use this little collar that I've got laying around. I actually bought that from the mower, didn't need it. So we'll grab 2 of these. We're gonna slide these up and raise them about 40 mil up to about here. The only thing is this spring here, which is our return spring for when we come back down, is going to be more compressed, so the fork's gonna sit down a little lower. Now, I'm not too concerned about not having a cup style anymore, because these shocks here, I've got the same, they just rested on the bottom and they've worked quite well, so. So I've just mocked up that front wheel. We do have to make up a couple of spaces just to stop the wheel from going side to side and hitting into the forks. But as you can see, we've got clearance now and it all fits, and this thing looks so good. I think it was well worth that little bit of extra effort. The only concern I have is the shocks, or the up here, don't really have anything to stop them from coming out. Once that collar's tightened up, there's obviously a couple of little pins inside, but that's pretty much it. All right, so I think we're going to end this one here. Now, gun-ho me would normally go cutting the frame up and putting this wheel under, but I think the smart option is to order the motor. I'm thinking of this thing, see if it's going to fit, and then land the wheel where it's going to fit. But what do you guys think of this little beast? Do you think it's pretty cool that we're jumping on and doing a mini bike build? It's something that's going to be really quick and easy, and we can see some results instead of things that take a year, 2 years to build. If you have any guesses of the motor we're going to put in this thing, drop it below. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss out anything. I'll see you guys in the next one.